Welcome to another viewing of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Every so often we hear of incidents involving lives being lost by drowning. This Tuesday is being observed as World Drowning Prevention Day. Of course, it's always good to be mindful, but now more than ever, in the summertime when a lot of us will be visiting beaches and rivers, we need to practice caution. We asked our viewers about ways we can prevent drowning. Let's hear what some of you had to say.
If you know you cannot swim, like, don't force it. Your friend call if you go river, like, don't rush it. If you know you can't swim, you know you can ease up on the side and go on with your mates. But if you don't know what you do, just relax. Or you can take swimming lessons if you like, or make your parents or somebody who can swim train you.
Don't crowd the beach too much, you know, and watch all the children or whatsoever on the beach.
When we take out the kids, especially the smaller ones, make sure that we watch them very carefully. Don't just leave them up. Don't leave them with a older sibling that you say, boy, them we all right. No. Make sure you, the adults, pay very, very well attention to them.
By always wearing a life jacket, putting floaters on the kids, always try to have someone who can swim on standby or just there with you guys. And just, prep from before. Have the kids or you as adults attend swim lessons so you can always, make sure that you're having fun, but you're also being safe while doing so.
We have more coming up after this, so please stay with us.
So many wish they could visit our shores. We live where they vacation. Brand Jamaica beckons all from the four corners of the earth.
Well, as a Jamaican, I have great pride in selling it. Your pride that you sell Jamaica with is something that it rolls off. Jamaica has so much to offer, and every time I have the privilege of bringing an executive down to Jamaica, an executive from an airline or a tour operator or a travel agency, and you take them across the country, the pride that they said, wow, I can't imagine, especially when it's their first time. Wow, I love this.
Build it. Cherish it. Our wealth is Brand Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, July 25, 2023. 4 specialist clinics will be added to the list of services being offered at the Noel Holmes Hospital in Hanover. Citizens in the parish will now be able to access specialized medical, pediatric, surgical, and urology care at the hospital. Clinical coordinator at the Western Regional Health Authority, Dr. Delroy Frey, made the announcement during a recent tour of the hospital by Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton.
This would, help a lot. The patients decide, to avoid traveling all the way over to Cornwall Regional Hospital. So we are in the process of, organizing some specialist clinic to commence here to bring the quality of care at this side of the island to a very high level.
Critical to this process is the surgical clinic, which is expected to start in August and assist with the many trauma cases the hospital receives from road crashes. Minister Tufton also advised that plans to upgrade the hospital's operating theatre were progressing steadily.
Today I'm happy to report that we are well advanced in the procurement process. A tedious process, a long process nevertheless, but we are advanced in the process, which is a commitment that we have made to establishing a proper, fully equipped operating theatre here at Noel Holmes.
A computerized tomography CT scan machine being purchased for the Kingston Public Hospital, KPH, is expected to be delivered by September. The $2 million investment was approved by Cabinet.
It's a good thing because there were complaints about the constant downtime of the CT scan there. We have repaired the old one, but we're now purchasing a new one. And that we expect to be delivered by September, I am told.
According to Dr. Tufton, a needs assessment of critical pieces of equipment for the hospital is being done. In addition, he says the leasing agreement being pursued by the government will address some of the issues regarding downtime of critical pieces of medical equipment in health facilities. Still on health, the minister says there will be no adverse effect on the staff of the National Family Planning Board, NFPB, and the National Council on Drug Abuse, NCDA, as the process to merge both into the ministry begins. Minister Christopher Tufton tabled 2 bills in Parliament last week to allow for the repeal of the 2 pieces of legislation governing the entities and transfer their functions, assets, rights, and liabilities to the Ministry of Health. The NFPB will become a division called the National Family Planning Services, while the National Council on Drug Abuse will become a department of the ministry.
The integration will allow for the achievement of synergy in operations and greater efficiencies. At the same time, the integration will see the streamlining of services and eradicating duplication of effort.
Minister Tufton says the National Family Planning Services Division will continue its key role of supporting sustainable health outcomes among marginalized and vulnerable populations. It will also manage cooperation between the health sector, social services sector, and civil society. Meanwhile, the NCDA will maintain its core functions of reviewing and monitoring the misuse of drugs and undertaking measures for the prevention of drug misuse and resulting social problems. Its mandate will also include supporting the nation's mental health response. Minister with responsibility for water, Senator Matthew Samuda, says Jamaica must raise approximately $3 billion to deal with water infrastructure and achieve resilience by 2030. Minister Samuda says it's critical that the country strengthens its water infrastructure, particularly in light of the unpredictability of weather patterns due to the combined effects of climate change and the onset of the El Niño weather phenomenon. Over the past year, the country has seen some of the most severe drought conditions. It's reported that the October 2022 to March 2023 period cumulatively was the driest 6-month period for that time of the year ever in Jamaica.
Even though some of the drought has been broken in some parts of the country, it has not been sufficient to restore the usual water levels in your aquifers, in your wells, and in some of your rivers. So we have challenges.
Anticipating that these conditions are likely to persist or worsen over time, the minister says government has been executing a consolidated, planned approach to building the resilience of the country's distribution network.
If you look right across the length and breadth of this country, we have been investing in increasing storage, increasing processing capacity, and significant investment in increasing our distribution capacity.
Senator Samuda was addressing the recent commissioning ceremony for water projects in Clarendon Southeastern. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has made good on a promise to provide farmer Dion Blake with a donkey to transport her goods. The presentation was made on Friday in the rural community of Cornwall District in northwest St. Elizabeth. Member of Parliament J.C. Hutchinson made the presentation on behalf of the Prime Minister, who was overseas on government business. Miss Blake, who cultivates pumpkin, sorrel, corn and peanuts and rears chickens, had appealed for support when the Prime Minister visited the parish recently. In addition to the donkey, she also received a backpack pesticide sprayer and poultry defeathering equipment, as well as a 1-year scholarship for 2 of her children who are attending secondary school.
I feel very special to know that I only asked for a donkey to help me with my need, to come over the hill with the chicken feeding. And I did not know that a chicken picker was in the process. So I feel very, very, very special to know that this thing that they call a chicken picker is going to help me to do my work more faster. And I will have more time to school my children than I spent 3 days around there picking chicken with my hands.
The Prime Minister, who joined the ceremony remotely, said providing the equipment and farm animal was necessary to encourage Miss Blake and her family to continue to make a meaningful livelihood from agriculture.
We note the need for further development. Rural development is an important part of the government's development agenda, and we will continue to do our farm roads. We will continue to try to bring irrigation and other forms of development to your area to make your life easier and give your children a better future.
Minister of Agriculture Floyd Green also pledged to place the community road under the Farm Road program.
So this road, which leads into this wonderful farming area, will be done during the course of this financial year.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Let us resolve our family disputes peacefully. A family is a circle of love, support, and strength. Violence has no place.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister is always on the move. Let's now see what happened in his office this past week.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness participated in the 3rd EU CELAC Summit, strengthened multilateral and regional relations, and delivered on his commitment of a valuable farm animal. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Simone Wolf. International affairs occupied most of Prime Minister Andrew Holness's time last week. The head of government led a delegation to Brussels, Belgium, for the 3rd European Union Community of Latin American and Caribbean States EU CELAC Summit.
To ensure that Jamaica's voice and presence is heard and felt at the multilateral level.
The Prime Minister welcomed the Global Gateway Investment Agenda for Latin America and the Caribbean, which was launched by the European Union at the summit. The initiative is to bring over 45 billion euros of high-quality European investment to Latin America and the Caribbean, with more than 135 projects already in the pipeline.
We look forward to the implementation of this investment agenda in Jamaica. We have, however, made significant efforts at debt reduction and are therefore hopeful that focus will be placed on de-risking investments, accessible interest rates, and technology transfers.
The two-day summit produced a declaration containing wide-ranging agreements on major contemporary issues confronting both regions.
The people of our countries are demanding meaningful, concrete, and urgent action. As such, we must be resolved to approach our bi-regional partnership with the pragmatism and ambition required to deliver on their behalf. Jamaica therefore looks forward to a deepened relationship between CELAC and Europe towards our mutual benefit.
Making its voice heard, Jamaica raised the issues of reciprocal visa arrangements, financing for development, and increased trade in goods and services with the EU. One-on-one talk was held with Joseph Borrell, the EU representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy. Meanwhile, at the bilateral level, relations with the Dominican Republic were deepened through talks on trade, travel, investment, and language and cultural exchanges. Prime Minister Holness also witnessed the signing of the final act of the Mexico-Jamaica 10th Permanent Binational Commission. The commission was established in 1993 and has been instrumental in the strengthening of traditional friendship, trade, investment, and cooperation opportunities for both countries.
You're asking for a donkey? Yes, I am asking for a donkey.
That request was honored by Prime Minister Holness on Friday to Dion Blake, a dedicated farmer from St. Elizabeth. The donkey will allow Miss Blake to transport her goods through the rough terrain to and from her farm.
Rural development is an important part of the government's development agenda, and we will continue to do our farm roads. We will continue to try to bring irrigation and other forms of development to your area to make your life easier and give your children a better future.
Ms. Blake also received a backpack pesticide sprayer and poultry defeathering equipment, as well as a one-year scholarship for 2 of her children who are attending secondary school.
I feel very special to know that I only asked for a donkey to help me with my need, to come over the hill with the chicken feed. And I did not know that a chicken picker was in the process.
Closing out the week, Prime Minister Holness congratulated the Reggae Girls on securing a point at the FIFA Women's World Cup on Sunday. The match ended in a draw. Mr. Holness wished the team all the best on their journey to gold, expressing confidence they would continue to shine and make Jamaica proud. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
physical, emotional, social, spiritual, and mental states of wellness should be at the forefront of your health journey. Up next, we focus on unlocking your mind.
Around the world, 10 to 20% of children and teenagers suffer from mental illness. In Jamaica, 45% of teenagers have reported having frequent episodes of anxiety symptoms such as jitters, restlessness, worry, and irritation. According to a new Caribbean Policy Research Institute poll used to examine broader measures of mental and emotional health, mental illness may be influenced by several underlying factors such as working long hours, providing care for a family member, or experiencing financial troubles. Let's now lift the curtains on one man's life narrative to see how his mental state impacted the way he maneuvered life. It's a journey that may impact even you.
One fool makes many, right? So Curtis brings them in, and they line up like little ducks in a row, and Curtis just knocks them down, right? How do you think we keep getting so many repeat gigs?
This play, it looks and examines the life and times of Donny Hathaway. That's a popular American musician. But not only was he brilliant, the fact is that the truth of the matter is that he had mental issues.
Despite his mental struggles, Donny Hathaway arranged multiple hit songs for various soul, gospel, jazz, and blues artists, Aretha Franklin and The Impressions, among others.
Jackie O or Nina Simone. Oh my girl.
It's all coming through and then some. Curtis is the man. Yes, all from your production deals. We have to move to Chicago. I'll be arranging for Jerry Butler, the Staple Singers, and even Aretha Franklin. In my life and time, I've sung a lot of songs.
Hathaway's mental health improved after being diagnosed and starting treatment.
But why should we listen to a story of an American artist?
We believe strongly, we don't just believe, we live the philosophies of Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey believed in a Pan-African movement where all of us that are descendants of Africa are related, and we all are. So Donny's story may seem to be an American story, but it's a black man's story.
A black man's story that disregards social status, color, stage in life, or geographic place.
In Jamaica, once you mention, that you are struggling, in that way you are deemed like, or maybe not much attention is placed to that. It's more like, oh no, just, sleep, relax, it's whatever you're dealing with. Maybe you're worrying too much or you're probably stressed, so don't think too much about it. But what are the signs that we can look for somebody that is struggling with mental health issues?
Sometimes when persons are in this state, we can see some of the signs starting to break through. Like they'll get angry easily, or they'll be too withdrawn in the opposite side. Sometimes there's some tremors that can happen to your body.
In 60% of instances of mental illness involving children in state care, psychological difficulties are evident. 76% of those cases involve maladaptive behaviors like violence, suicidal thoughts, and social withdrawal.
I played Yulela in Heart of Soul. I was Donny's wife. I was the caring type, but he started going through mental illness. I didn't know what was going on at the time. Well, the character didn't know what was going on at the time. She was supportive, but at one point, things went south.
And the role I played was a character named Benny, but sometimes went by Bunny. Whatever the reason may be, I'm still not completely certain, but I loved the character because it was essentially me, but a caricature. So the way I had to prepare for the role was I just had to be myself, but played up a little. He was a sort of type that knew what was happening. He knew the ins and outs of the roles, and he knew how to play it up to his advantage.
I played Donny Hathaway, the lead. Well, the story is built around his life.
Through art art and its storytelling come possibilities of understanding life's various obstacles and the struggle to overcome them. It could be as simple as resisting a harmful mental perception.
I was very shy, and when I should perform on stage, I get nervous and always forgetting my lines. At one point I thought he was gonna drop me and find someone else, but he saw the talent in me I didn't see myself, and he pushed me to get there. So now, having the confidence, I'm very dedicated to this studio, and I'm willing to play any part given to me.
Theatre is one way to do this, and there are many other ways to challenge the mind, such as knowing the difference between fact and fiction. You can begin by utilizing the resources at your disposal.
We have, for example, like forums. We collaborate with other agencies, other health agencies, to educate, as well as to we provide the information as to where they can go to get assistance.
Donny Hathaway returned to his room at the Essex House Hotel in New York City on January 13, 1979. Later that night, his body was discovered on the sidewalk outside his 15th floor window. The death of Donny Hathaway was ruled a suicide. He was 33 years old at the time.
To check on your strong friends.
Very much true, because like she said, you don't know what people are going through. And it's also important to know within yourself what's going on, because you yourself know you better than anyone else could possibly know you.
Let not your mind be troubled, and if it is, seek help. Our theatre, culture, and art worlds are waiting on you to speak up, find peace, and inspire others to do the same.
About 29,000 Jamaicans are blind. Another 80,000 are considered visually impaired. Glaucoma. Eye diseases arising from diabetes and refractive errors in children are among the major causes of blindness and visual impairment in Jamaica. Get your eyes checked if you have not had an eye exam in the last 2 years. Visit your eye doctor or call the Jamaica Society for the Blind Vision Center at 876-927-6757 or 876-927-6759. Take care of your eyes. You need them to properly carry out your daily activities.
Yes, by now we all know that drinking water is one of the best things we can do for our bodies. But have you ever thought about the process it goes through to be safe for us to drink? No? Well, we have the answers just for you.
The human body cannot function without water. While you may live for up to 3 weeks without food, you cannot go more than a week without water. From breaking down the food we eat so the body can use it, to helping us heal when we get sick, water is needed for almost every process that takes place in the body. And although 70% of the Earth's surface is covered with water, drinking it directly from seas, rivers, wells, or aqueducts may make you sick. Untreated water contains bacteria and other germs, as well as chemicals that may be dangerous to the body. So in order to get the water from here to here safely, it has to be treated. Water treatment processes differ depending on the source. If the water is coming from a river, for example here at the Negro River in St. Thomas, it usually goes through an extensive treatment process before reaching the pipe.
Here is where we do the first type of treatment in the form of sedimentation and screening. Behind me you can see where we screen the bigger stuff like the sticks, stones and debris. Then we come down to the sediment where we separate the sand from the stones. And then this water will leave from St. Thomas and pipe into Kingston via pipeline into the Mona Reservoir.
The Mona Reservoir is the island's largest raw water storage facility and provides the liquid to over 30% of people living in Kingston and St. Andrew. If this is where you get your water, Here is where the next step in the treatment process occurs.
Here in the reservoir, we allow for maximum levels of mixing, maximum levels of aeration, as can be done here at the facility. We also, at the reservoir, you allow for settling out of the silt and the suspended particles, dirt particles, that would otherwise be in the raw water. We then take the water from the reservoir and take it to the Mona treatment plant.
At the treatment plant, chemicals are added to further purify the water. Chlorine is first added to kill bacteria.
You have stages that include flocculation, where we actually add chemicals to the water that allow those microscopic dirt particles that are still in the water to be brought together in what we call flocks, and then we are able to skim it off and remove it from the water.
The water is then passed through filters which contain layers of sand, gravel, charcoal or synthetic materials that remove remaining small particles. The final stage is disinfection. Here, chlorine is added to kill any other bacteria or germ.
Ensuring that we have what we refer to as chlorine residual that goes with the water, so that as the water travels along the pipeline to our customers, should it come in contact with any germs along the way, there is enough chlorine residual in that water to destroy those germs and still be delivered to the customer in good quality.
The water is tested all throughout the treatment process to ensure that what you get in your pipe meets World Health Organization standards.
For several years running, the National Water Commission has won the best tasting water in the Caribbean. We have also been acknowledged by the various arms of the United Nations at different points in time as having one of the best quality water in the hemisphere.
That is definitely something we can drink to.
It is that time of day when we part ways, but don't forget to catch up on previous magazines by visiting our website, jis.gov.jm. Also, we would love your feedback on how we can improve for you. Be sure to send us an email to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. I'm Adrian Atkinson, and this has been Jamaica Magazine. Bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.